Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Shaft 2019, because it's the third Shaft movie, and for some reason they're all called Shaft. But Tim Story directed this film, and this really incorporates 3 generations of Shafts in it, and the big one, obviously, Samuel L. Jackson in this film, and I've never seen either of the other Shaft movies. I didn't see the original with Richard Roundtree. I didn't see the Samuel L. Jackson Shaft movie. So going in, I didn't have a whole lot of background. I just know there's bad mother effers. But that's how much I knew going in. And really, when it comes down to it, Tim Story tries to bring some pizzazz to how he directs this film. I've never been a huge fan of Tim Story. He directed the first 2 Fantastic Four films, and they're pretty just, there it is. There's nothing really special about it. There's a couple of sequences in this film, especially when they're jumping through time a bit after this intro that takes place really like late 80s, early 90s, somewhere around there, and then it jumps time, and how they montaged it I thought was pretty fun. And then there's one particular scene which they do show a little bit in the trailer with JJ, played by Jesse T. Usher, shooting a gun, and how they use the slow motion and the getting up and close with the zoom in on the bullets and stuff like that. I'm like, there's some cool, fun things that he tried to incorporate into this film. I never felt bored during this film. It had energy. It was zipping through. I have to say, the first part of this film, which is really just centering on Jesse T. Usher, JJ Shaft, I didn't really care a whole lot. And when it really came down to it, I didn't feel brought in to this mystery and his relationships and him trying to figure out what happened to his friend, because his friend getting killed is what really started this whole story, and I'm just like, I don't really care that much about the mystery going on. I didn't really feel invested. But I did care about his relationships with his father once he gets to see John Shaft. And Samuel L. Jackson shows up and just brings energy to this film, and it was great. And he's great as always. He really brings a lot to this character and makes it a lot of fun. I have to say, like, I did laugh. I thought a lot of things were funny, but also this film's really outdated. And in a time where there's a lot of talk about toxic masculinity and sexism and Me Too movement, and this film really felt like it was trying to make a statement about going against those things. Obviously this is perfect timing because it's in the center of that, or if it was just like socially tone deaf to the fact that all these things are going on right now in our society. Just felt like this film came out then at a really, really bad time. This film actually felt like it was something that would have been written and should have come out in the late 90s, early 2000s, but dropped in 2019, where a lot of society are just like, I don't like this kind of thing. And that's really tricky, and that's part of my recommendations, honestly, for this film is, if you're going to be offended by a lot of like misogynistic jokes and traditional perspectives on things, this isn't really going to be your thing. It might actually make you mad, because there's some things in this. But honestly, some of the action wasn't even really memorable or interesting. The really unfortunate thing is, there's some really bad editing when it came to some of the action sequences, trying to hide the fact that it was like Richard Roundtree trying to fight, which he had a lot of charisma, and he was great in the very small amount that he's in this film, to warn you. But that took me out of the movie. It's like super, super quick cut editing of a stunt double, very obviously, and it's just like, ugh, I hate that. And like, I enjoyed the interactions with them, the characters. I enjoyed that. Alexandra Shipp was really good. I appreciated her. Regina Hall, she brought a lot of energy and charisma to this film, and her banter with John Shaft was great. But besides that, the film as a whole is kind of not very memorable in terms of what actually happens plot-wise. And honestly, how much you're going to enjoy this film is really going to be affected by how you feel about the potential comments that I brought up of misogyny and all these different kinds of things. Because if you if you're going to be offended by that, this really isn't for you. Because the thing is, in the end, it gives an opportunity to say, like, this is not how you should be, but not enough to be like, that's wrong. It's more like, is it the best? But those are my thoughts. If you saw this and loved it, let me know what you think. Or if you didn't like it, always comment, let me know, and let's talk some movies. But thank you, as always, for supporting your Wasteland reviewer.